Welcome to another episode of Cleaning and Cocktails. Again, what did I say? Season 3 is in-person type of scenarios, and I got another in-person interview. Again, Debbie, thanks to you for having the CBF retreat in Chicago. I get to have my friend Jody here in the office, in the studio, talking shop on the cleaning industry. Jody, thank you so much for being here. Jody is a CEO and founder of PX3 Cleaning Solutions out of Pennsylvania. And Jody, how does it feel to be around the people that you were with earlier today and you're going to be with tomorrow? You're in the cleaning industry. How did you get into the cleaning industry, and how excited are you to be in the cleaning industry?
Well, it's been quite a ride. We started our business in 2018 in property maintenance. And when COVID hit in 2020, kind of wiped us out. So we weren't diversified in any way at that point. We were dibbling a little bit with residential and a little bit of commercial, but basically lost everything. And kind of I studied the market to be able to make gains and kind of figure out where I could diversify to like bring income back, because I was the sole breadwinner of our family. So it was exiting out of my medical career. My family thought I was crazy because they were like, why do you want to clean? Like, who wants to clean? You know, that kind of thing. And I was really, I said dead set on not failing. Failure wasn't an option. So, that's kind of what brought us back as I studied, and I met up with you on social media, came to Cleaning and Cocktails on Facebook, and studied the industry in other ways too, in residential, but took more to commercial and came to Cleaning and Cocktails and met some really amazing colleagues that have been able to kind of help propel me. So
2 years later, you're still talking to them and you're still around them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So here, because I messed up and we didn't cheers in the beginning of the show. So cheers to you. Thank you for Casa Azul for providing the Reposado, Anejo, and the watermelon. What do you got? Watermelon too?
I've got watermelon too. Man, it's delicious.
We are tequila infused here today. So, 2 years later.
Yes.
You're here. You were here. You're still talking to some of the people that you're talking to. You said it where this is an industry that you did not know you were going to get into. You're coming from the medical industry. Mm-hmm. But again, like digging deeper on that, where what was it about cleaning, or was it more about being a business owner at the time?
So I actually fell into a business that I've actually 4 businesses. And
it's not a lot.
Compared to what compared to what you're into. So it was basically a business that was a global industry, and I still participate in, and I just absolutely love it. It was the only income that we had when COVID hit, because we were so heavily in property maintenance. Our governor shut down the state of Pennsylvania, and diversifying and making sure that you have other streams of income is really important. But it's also important to be able to have trusted, known sources to be able to do good work with integrity and things like that. So my medical field and the infection control and all of those kind of things, it made it very easy to transition into clean environment, sterile environment, cleaning procedures and things like that. It just made sense. I think we went in 2020, we had no income at all. We went to 400 and almost 450,000. Then we went the next year in 2022 to 820,000. So we doubled our business, and we've hit the $1 million trajectory, and we're just trying to now balance where we want to build our business. So now I'm working on a residential split. So I've done the commercial stuff, and I'm still building, and I'm not going to steer away from that, but I've also studied where I can go, and I want to kind of build that other area.
Yeah.
And what I've found in the industry is there's a really clear divide between the two. I've kind of mentored myself into getting into ISSA and being a voice. I used to be a voice for my patients.
Yeah.
Now I'm a voice in the industry because I want to make a blueprint.
Yeah.
People have put me back on my heels in the industry because they don't look at cleaning as a lucrative business,
Yeah.
and it really is, and it really can be, and I want to change that, and I want to be able to help people to understand what I didn't understand when I started. Yeah.
Now, so from the medical perspective, that's why you had the respect, right? You had the respect for what the cleaning looked like or what the appreciation was for cleaning in, whether was it hospitals, medical
long-term
facilities?
care facilities,
Long-term care, okay.
rehabs, high medical acuity. So some of them
So
had
that's high
trachs
level.
and vents and things like that.
Yeah.
You can't have unsterile environments
No.
and stuff like that.
So, which is a lot different than your common commercial cleaning.
Correct.
So, and I remember like I think it was a Facebook message, and then it was, I think you even called me through Facebook, but you impressed me just because of the desire that you had at that time. And you were telling me you were coming from the medical space. And I was like, man, I almost had that perception as well, right? Like she's coming from medical space. She's in the cleaning space, but she knows her shit. I'm like, she's like, you already were curious about things that it took me 5 years to get into and understand. Where you're at now, I wouldn't have guessed, but I guess it now because where you came from. Like, again, this is a few years ago that we first had our conversation. It's like, you want to know about the production rate. You want to know about, expectations of scope of work and things that I'm like, man, this girl just, you came out of nowhere. So you being a voice, like you're saying, it's needed, right? We're both part of the ISSA. Congrats on that, right?
Yes.
Because it does take some legwork. So with you becoming part of these committees, I'd love for you to share on the two committees that you're a part of. Because again, I think we both agree ISSA is a platform. Like any other organization, any other firm that's out there, right? We both appreciate BSCI and, there's the IFMAs and the BOMAs, but what is it with ISSA that you think is going to help you be that voice?
So, being that I had an education and things like that, I actually studied the market and I studied you. And I've also studied, the CBF model and Debbie Sardone, and I studied the ISSA. When I wanted to move myself forward, I wanted to do it with integrity. And I do believe there's a science behind cleaning. A lot of people don't think that there is, and the whole trunk slammer type, that you hear people say, well, anybody can own a cleaning business.
All the time.
That is not true.
No.
And there's so many things that you see out there that you're coming in and you're educating. And education is so important to your clients because they don't know what they don't know. And a lot of them, they just want to throw a budget. And just because the budget doesn't meet the soil level, it doesn't meet, the amount of traffic, those kinds of things. So I have actually taken where I used to build medical care plans for my patients. I kind of build scope of works now based off of environmental assessments and things like that. And I've learned that from ISSA and from watching and studying the industry. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, but you need trusted sources. And ISSA is the largest cleaning organization in the world. Who
right?
else can you trust if you can't trust them, right? And, and they have such certifications and training and education that people don't even know what's there, and they're only just touching the tip of the iceberg. And there needs to be more participation, and people need to understand what they can do and how they can invest themselves and how it can make a better blueprint and better cleaning standards.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, it was a whole different ballgame. Post-COVID, you're having a different conversation with your clients.
Yeah.
Where cleaning was the first thing that got cut before, they're
thinking twice.
okay,
They're thinking
what
twice.
else can we skim here that we realize that we need to have a clean, healthy environment for not only our employees, the general public, but their families too, like depending on your service industry. So, ISSA to me has been where I was spending my education before in the medical field. Now I'm looking at it as how can I help people understand how they can use residential and commercial, and how can they elevate themselves, elevate their businesses, educate themselves, their staff, and just do better business all around.
Yeah. So what's intriguing, Jody, is like you're going from, so you said you build up commercial, it came down a little bit. You said, hey, you know what, I'm going to steer to residential. Like, normally it's the other side or it's the other way, right? And normally, I mean, you said it before and 10 minutes ago, split. I told you before, I'd never heard that before, but it actually makes sense. Like it really does. It's a split model. You need two different approaches to provide that service delivery, but also run the operations. What would you say to those that say, Jody, you can't why would you go from commercial to residential, or why are you trying to do both? Like, what is it about both that make you motivated to want to do that?
Well, one thing, I like a challenge, always have. So, when I was dealing again with my clients that couldn't talk to me and couldn't, I read people very well.
She reads and studies.
I definitely do. Definitely do. Eye contact, body language, all the things that they're not saying, I'm already picking up.
Yeah.
So, I have a very keen sense of being able to meet people where they are, and that means meeting my clients where they are. So I've been able to expand that. But I also had, someone basically say, why would you want to do one over the other? Why want both? Why not?
Yeah.
So it's become a challenge to me because I see such a pitfall between the two. There's not a software that encompasses both. There's not a scheduling that encompasses both. And I fell into that pitfall, and it's uncomfortable, but I think I can change it. I feel like I can be a voice. I love women leadership. I love speaking to people. And I want to make sure that when I do that, I'm coming educated enough to be able to make a difference and impact them and bring them with me.
And be credible, right? Think about it. If you're doing the homework behind the scenes, and when you speak, there's some piece of credibility that you get. And we talked about it earlier today. Is software can only do so much. Right. Do you have the process in place? Do you have the system in place? But to even take it to the next level, like you said, there is not many softwares or systems that work for both. Very complex, very different. But that is a cool challenge to take on and say, I think it could be done. So you're up for the challenge.
I am. I'm up excited for the challenge.
No, I think it's going to be cool over the next year as we continue to talk and learn together. There's a lot that I think could be done. It's just, has anybody wanted to do it? Many have thought, but do you want to do it? Because we just had a great conversation on, there's the pros and cons, but the industry should know that you could be done, if you approach it the right way.
Right.
So let's talk about now. Yeah, that's the business side, right? I know you have some personal stuff that you have going on, right? And I think a lot of people don't ever talk about the personal stuff. And that's why I wanted to bring you on, Jody, because you are real, you're authentic, you are you do what you do, and you have the struggles that not many people know about or talk about. And you know me, what we do with the show and what we do with the knowledge that we're sharing this is real life. This is human. There are the emotions that are in there. I'm in a family business, up and down every freaking day. Talk about how you're getting past the struggles with what you're dealing with. Not many people may know what you're dealing with.
Right. So currently right now, I've been married for 23 years with my husband, who has an aging brain injury. And he's able to do some things. I have an autistic son and a terminally ill mom right now. So, I have a lot on my plate. I've grown my business to the point where I can do I don't want to say the fun things, but the harder things, the strategic things, the marketing, the things that look for growth. And every year I plan and I target and I go after those goals. And I work really hard to get them. But that work-life balance sometimes is an issue. And some people, you got to make things fit for you. And in the industry, in the commercial aspect, when I'm talking to people, what I'm finding right now is recently in the last 6 months, there's a movement within the residential that they're getting commercial contracts dropped into their lap, and they're like, "Wow, I don't know what to do with this."
What do I do? Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I'm chuckling on the back end. I'm like, "Well, pick it up. If it makes sense and it fits in your business model, why would you turn it away?" And I think that I'm a little tainted on the back end because I gave up a career that was good benefits and solid things for my family to start a business that I lost to regain, and failure wasn't an option for me. So I just threw enough stuff at the wall until it stuck, but then I educated myself, and you definitely have to have that education in the back end. I participate with 2 ISSA, groups right now, and one is the educational group, which I love, because you're looking at what do we need to plan for North America. That's big. That's a big thing. That's a big deal. And then the government advocacy. And we did Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
We did the Capitol fly-in
talk
event,
about that.
and
How
we did
cool.
cleaning and cocktails
That was cool.
afterwards. It
Right,
was amazing.
that was cool. Yep.
And our Pennsylvania, legislation is one of the ones that are lobbying right now for the foreign, employees to come in and like a
Was
visa.
the immigrant
It
reform.
is,
Yeah.
and I think that's huge, especially for like resort towns and things like that, for that temporary relief and to be able to grow.
Yeah.
Because what I'm hearing a lot from people is we don't have the employees.
Yeah,
We
you don't
can't
have the
do
staffing,
it.
so how can
Right.
we resolve the staffing? That's an option.
Right.
That they were talking
but
about.
they set the standard of clean.
Yeah.
That is huge for the world. And when I say that, that's a huge thing. It's a big undertaking.
Yeah.
And to be able to just align yourself with the individuals in the industry that are working to make a change worldwide and to have that universal fit, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know what
that's
part
who
of
you
a
want to
group
align
you would want to
yourself
be.
with.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
right?
No, well, I'm excited. I mean, when we were there in DC, was that the first time you got exposed
Yes,
to?
yes.
Because that was my first time.
First
I
time.
never knew that
I
was.
proclamated for Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And we put Pennsylvania on the board, which I was
Yeah.
really proud about that. So I was glad that the governor of Pennsylvania picked that up, and I plan to do it again. And this year, I'm going to bring a lot of people with us. I'm having the conversation within, some of the residential realms that I work on in the commercial and saying, you need to have a better voice. If you really want to do this and you want to do the industry well, then speak up and come forth and give yourself and make that blueprint for yourself and your business.
I mean, how big is Pennsylvania? As far as numbers go, population, that is it a big industry for cleaning? Is there a lot of cleaning companies or not? I think of Philadelphia when I think of Pennsylvania. I think of Pittsburgh.
For our area, somebody just asked me to pull this the other night. I think
we should pull this kind of information,
Mountjoy
right?
itself in the area that I live in is less than 9,000 people.
Okay.
But we've grown to certain areas. So, we will probably tap out in our market in certain degrees. And then at that point, I'll decide to satellite and probably go to a different state. It's on my radar. I definitely
Well, is that a bad
have.
approach? You satellite, think about it. You've tapped the market. You're there. You got operations going. You go to a bigger city, right?
But it
And
will
just
be
replicate.
with targeted choices at that point.
A plan.
A plan.
You got the plan.
A plan.
Okay.
A plan for growth that will tap to where I want to grow. I think a lot of people they're just taking what they can take, and I actually structurally position myself to take what I want to take and build where I want to build and target the zip codes that I want to grow in. But that's my plan, is to max out my market and then to go somewhere else.
All right. So we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
But when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the plan. And I want to talk about more on, again, to those that are skeptical or just are worried about, can I do residential and commercial? I want to touch on how you are approaching residential coming from commercial. So on that note, we'll be right back. A word from our sponsor. Everybody, we're back. So, Jody, like we said before the break, I wanted to get into the plan, and I wanted to get into you from, again, going from commercial to residential. What are the approaches? But before we get into that, you have a plan for what you want to do. So let's take that a step further, because this is an exercise I like to have every once in a while with everybody who's on the show. You said you went up, you went down. What is your plan? What is your 3-year plan from now, or 5-year plan, both from a personal and a business side?
Okay, so I'm rounding out this year in 2023 with a pretty significant focus on residential. So I aligned myself with Debbie Sardone and the CBF model. I'm in the pro group, which is like top 2%, I think, of cleaners in the world. I think the elites are in the top 1 for residential cleaners. And it is definitely been a business-changing impact for me. The strategies and the things that Debbie has shared with us within this industry are just, top-notch. Like, I couldn't have gone anywhere better.
Yeah.
And that growth has also impacted my commercial also. So I've taken some of the strategies.
I was going to ask you that. Could you take some of those
absolutely,
over?
100%. 100%. And people that tell you not, it's like you don't know what you don't know. But she has basically a blueprint for success. And so when I got challenged.
And think about it, you're coming from commercial. So again, you may have a different blueprint and you've seen success. So that speaks a lot. Debbie, shout out. We got to talk about the Buffaloes after this.
The Buffalo herd. You hear the herd, they're running through. All right. For sure.
So, but again, so keep going on. So you shouldn't shy away from residential if you're commercial. If you're residential, you shouldn't shy away from commercial. What is your vision over the next, again, going back to like the next 3 years? You told me off, we were talking on the side, you see there being the ability to create a bridge between residential, commercial, and that together.
Yes.
What does the bridge look like, or what is there a blueprint that could be made for that?
I'm hoping so. That's one of the reasons why you and I talk, and why I think that we're going to continue to talk. I think that, like I said, you're seeing a shift in the industry where people were so segmented to just what they had in front of them. But what they're seeing is now commercial is very possible, but they don't know what they don't know. And so, in the residential part, I had someone challenge me, and that has been a challenge to myself to say, I've always taken to being able to set goals. Every year I set goals. And I set them, financially. I set them personally. I set them for certifications. In 2021, my goal was to spend time in commercial with you. And that's what I did. And that brought me to Chicago, which just exploded my ability and my colleagues and things and just my knowledge base there. And then in the next year, I targeted residential. Next year, it's going to be ISSA the whole way. It's going to be certifications. It's going to be badging myself up. It's going to be educating myself. And it's going to be able to give me that industry. So like every year I'll do that. So this November when we hit ISSA and I'm there in the trade show and we're walking.
You're going to have fun?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I am so excited. I've actually, I took a distributor that's based in Texas, and I'm really excited because we're going to try to help some people understand how you can take certain floor machines and pivot them to both as add-ons. There's so many things that you can do. You can. So we have a presentation that's set, I think, for the first day that we open there, and that's exciting. So I've got, I'm going to work with that distributor and help them kind of bring themselves forward. I have the 2 organizations within ISSA. I want to build my residential to the same size as my commercial, and then after that, as you say, like what's the next goal? The next goal would be in 3 to 5 years that we're satelliting with targeted market to where I want to grow, where it'll be commercial and residential potentially. Okay. Probably more commercial, and it'll probably be a resort like-ish.
Okay.
And maybe foreign.
There you go. So, all right. So big vision, right?
Big vision.
Those are big vision, big ideas. So what I love even more about, Jody, you like bypass this a little bit, but I know in your head, you deal with it every day. It's like many people the personal stuff that they're dealing with, I give up. It's, that's not fair. My cards are stacked. I can't do it. Like, a lot of the audience and the people that listen in or watching, Jody, that not that they give up, but like there is a lot of shit that happens, right? Like this is not easy. This industry is very tough, especially if you're on your own. So you're thinking about like there's a lot of single moms that I'll talk to. They're getting back into the workspace. They want to build a business. They want to launch something. How do you tell them to push through when you've got 1, 2, 3 different things that have happened in your life? What are some things that you've done from a mindset perspective that allow you to push through?
I attend events like Cleaning and Cocktails. I fill my cup, and I draw back to trusted sources, and I make sure that I am in alignment. It's very difficult. Work-life balance is something that everybody struggles with. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, No. I'm a mom of 3 boys and that are absolutely my world. My mom was always my rock. And I'm pretty tenacious when something challenges me and it pushes me, I have learned to push back. And retreating is just not something in my blood. And that's been something that I overcome. I'm either going to go over it, under it, or through it. And that's been something like my dad always used to call me the Rock. Yeah. And I actually have, like, when I was a senior in high school, I went to the beach and I got this license plate and it says like a rock. And when he died, I have that. And and I often think that even a rock needs a foundation to rest on. Yep. And coming from event to event, I learned so much. And, it's just the camaraderie and the colleagues that you've built and the networking that you get it has been key to me. So when the world is falling apart at home, I know that I can propel myself to the next best thing, and I always come away with knowledge nuggets. I love calling them knowledge nuggets. I mentor people for free. They reach out to me and they have a question just like you did.
No, I feel you.
You opened that door, you picked up the phone, you got on the phone with me way back when I was like, what am I going to do? I had no other option. You know what I mean? Like if it's to be, it's to me. And I hold that really true. But I also make sure that I'm trying to fill my cup. And I'm trying to better myself. And it's about personal mastery. It's about, pushing yourself. It's about making sure that you're balancing yourself with the mental and the physical and all of that. There's a lot of people that spend time wasting time. Yeah. And I don't have that. Yeah. So the time, my waking hours are filled.
Being busy.
They're filled. And I'm a mom. I'm a mom first. Yep. A wife. And right now I have the opportunity. This business has afforded me the opportunity to care for my mom.
It's flexible.
And I would have never had that working in the medical field. I would never be able to be in her home every day. Yeah. And I tell my children, this is a privilege. Yeah. Like I'm building a legacy for you to understand that you can work really hard. You pick what you're passionate about, and you can change careers midlife. I'm 51 years old. You
could go back,
and I'm basically I don't want to.
But I'm saying you could though.
I could.
That's what it's. I could. That's out there, but why?
I could, but you know what? Like Debbie had this. There was a theme. I think it was back in. I think it was in retreat. Actually, it was burn the ships.
So you can't go back.
And I actually, I hung up my medical license. And everyone's like, you are crazy. And I'm like, I'm not.
Because you burned the bridge almost.
Because there was no option. There's no option. I'm not going back. Yeah. So it's forward. All speed ahead. Let's just get going.
Are you 1 foot in or are you 1 foot out?
I'm all in.
Like, we get it. When in the beginning, it's a big risk. You want to, I remember in my head, Jody, I was always like,
exit plan. What's plan B? What's plan B?
It's like, I can't, I got to make what I'm making now if I'm going to do that. No, I can't take that risk. But you quickly see what the outcome can be if you do take the risk.
Yes.
Right? Like if you go all in.
You can win big.
You could.
Sometimes
but it's a risk. But that's what entrepreneurship is.
But it's also hard, right? Yeah, there is no map. There is no map for that, right?
There's no secret sauce.
Entrepreneurship, and I never would have known that had I not stepped into that global business. It untapped something in me because even my family was like, "You're really good. You were really good at what you did. Yeah. You excelled beyond what you should have." Right? Yeah. And I said, I don't know why, but it bit me, and I haven't been able to step back from it since. And my mom's pretty proud of what we did. My brother and I both have very successful businesses. He does HVAC and things like that. And, you know, we were just raised differently, you know what I mean? And I just want to be able to give that to my kids.
As we wrap up, Jody, any last words? Obviously, again, you know the audience that we have, right? We got small, medium-sized, large-sized contractors. We got business owners, you know, in general. Again, this doesn't have to be just about cleaning. You've come a long way from where you're at. You're doing it both from the personal and business side. Again, work-life balance doesn't exist. You do the best you can. What do you want to leave people with? Anything that really drives you, or you know that is a motivating factor for you to become the next disciplined Jody of the next year? What do you want to leave people with?
You know, for me, I'm looking to elevate women in the industry. I think, you know, women working in a male-dominated, used to be more male-dominated, but it's not as much.
It's mixing up.
Right? I mean, the women are coming from behind.
You walk in my door, it's mom, aunt, her. I got 6 women before you get into my office.
I'm working on the back end right now to like mentor other individuals, and I enjoy that. I enjoy teaching people to be their best self and to maybe untap the potential where they're holding themselves back. You know, I look at doing some of those things, but I just want to be able to make sure that I do well for myself, for my family, that I'm doing business with integrity, that I'm educated and well-spoken, and that when at the end of the day, someone's going to see PX3 and they're going to say, you know what, like that is a stellar company. You know, I've heard about them. Like I've heard that, you know, that owner actually will help other people in the industry. There's times that, you know, things don't fit for me and I'll pass it on to other people. I'm not holding all the things. Like it's not just about me. It's also about helping other people. And I think when you help other people, and your motto, stronger together, true. Like ever since the first event, like that holds true to me. I feel like you have to make sure that you have that network. And if you don't, you need to get it. You know, you need to find it. You need to study it. You need to align yourself with it, because if you don't, it's going to be a very lonely climb.
Yeah. Good luck.
If you can get there, right? No, but when you do align that, the climb's a little easier, because sometimes somebody can tell you what didn't work for them and you can avoid a pitfall where, you know, before you didn't. So like that's key. Networking within the industry is really, really, really important. Awesome.
Well, Jody, thank you for taking the time.
Yeah.
I know, again, you're out here, not just being out here, you're busy. You got a busy schedule. We got to get you up tomorrow. So I wanted to give you one last cheers.
Yep. Cheers.
On being you. Being authentic, helping, like you say you always do, but actually doing it. Because I've seen you. I've seen you from afar, and I see you close. We're in many groups together, and good luck on everything you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm going to be a part of this journey with you. I'll see you very soon.
All right.
All right.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
We'll see you in the next one, everybody.